G'day legends! I recently rode out and back on a 50km section of the Munda Biddi Trail from Northcliffe to Yirra Kartta, clocking up a total of nearly 1500 metres of elevation gain. It was a great day on the bike and it taught me a few things that should come in handy for our planned end-to-end in September. It was also a great reminder for me of what a beautiful family I have. Now if you don't know where Northcliffe is, it's a small town just south of Pemberton in Western Australia. And Yirra Kartta is this big dome-shaped rock in the middle of the bush that has beautiful 360-degree views of the surrounding area. There's even a fancy-looking Munda Biddi campsite right next to it. And although I'll be attempting an end-to-end of the Munda Biddi in September with a few of the faffers, this ride was less of a bikepacking shakedown and more of a fitness smash fest in preparation for 7 in a few weeks' time. So I was travelling light with just my usual backpack, a couple of water bottles and a bento box stuffed full of nutrition. Oh, and I also had a helmet light just in case I ran out of daylight. First up, I must admit I was a little surprised at how little single track there was on this section. The Munda Biddi guide says that overall there is roughly 25% single track, with only some larger gravel roads. While I don't doubt this is true, I'm pretty sure this particular section had far more than its fair share of gravel roads, which did get a little monotonous at times. This wasn't a huge deal given that I'm furiously training for 7 at the moment, but having ridden the beautiful Munda Biddi single track around the Mundaring and Dwelling Up areas, I was hoping for a little more. But I cannot complain too much. Overall it was a fantastic ride, and setting foot on Yirra Kartta made it all worthwhile. And speaking of remote, I was surprised that I didn't see a single rider on this section, not even at the super deluxe hut at the end. And given the amount of gravel roads, I was expecting to see quite a few cars out there, but I was happy to see only a couple of 4-wheel drives. You may have noticed on my bars a new device that I was testing out. It's a Garmin 520 thanks to one of the faffers, John Hoy. And I must say that I was seriously impressed with how easy it was to follow the trail with this device. There are plenty of signs on the trail anyway, so I wouldn't say it was a necessary accessory to have, but it gave me a level of comfort that I wasn't heading off in the wrong direction. And this allowed me to relax and enjoy the ride a bit more. Mostly I kept it on the map page, which showed a zoomed in view of the trail, overlaid with my current location, plus a left or right arrow in the distance till the next turn. I swear the arrows even got bigger as you got closer to the turns, but that could just be my dodgy eyes. I did struggle to read the distance numbers a little, so it was handy that the device beeped when I got within 100 metres of a turn. And later on that night during the return trip, I was stoked to find that it lit up at the same time as the warning beep, making it even more noticeable. Even with all that, I still managed to overshoot a corner or two, but the Garmin was so clever that it started beeping continuously to let me know that I'd strayed off course. Thinking ahead to our Munda Biddi attempt in September, I'm pretty sure I'll bring this device along, even though it'll be one more thing to try and keep charged up. Something else that occurred to me on this ride was how much better it would have been with some company, especially the long gravel road sections where not much changed other than the constant up and downs. Having someone to chat with and share the experience would have been a huge morale boost. With our upcoming Munda Biddi trip, it made me think that 10 days without any company would be pretty miserable. And that even if we didn't travel together all the time, just meeting up at the end of the day would be something to really look forward to. We talked about pre-organising some accommodation for each night along the way, but it hasn't happened yet. I get the feeling that everyone is still weighing that up against remaining somewhat flexible based on how they feel each day, and talk has now turned back to being a bit more self-sufficient. Either way, I'm sure it'll work, and even if we don't stay together as a single big group, hopefully smaller groups will form along the way. On a different note, something that has really started bugging me lately, and particularly on this ride, is sweat dripping into my eyes. Not only does it fog up my glasses, but it really irritates my eyes as well. I'm actually a bit concerned that the bacteria from my infrequently washed helmet is going to make itself at home in my eyeballs. But even if that doesn't happen, the inconvenience of foggy glasses is definitely not something I want to deal with for 10 days straight, so I need to work out a solution. I know that some of the sweatier faffers use headbands for this problem, and I've even seen a few bandanas in use as well. Something to test out soon. One thing I learned on this ride is to get rid of old bike pants. They do not help. I had on my oldest pair and the padding was very worn and super thin. This was very noticeable and painful when bouncing around on the corrugated gravel roads. And although you may disagree with this, I can tell you that your riding buddies definitely do not want to see your butt crack through 10 strands of overstretched lycra. Another learning from this ride, and something I'll take away for 7, is that energy bars aren't that good for faster paced tempo rides. I'm sure they'll be fine for longer, slower rides, such as what I imagine our September Munda Biddi rides will look like, but when pinging along at tempo pace, then they are too dry and difficult to consume without risk of choking to death. I found the gels much easier to gulp down, so I'm going to start practicing with them on future training rides. Now, I told my family I'd be back home at 6 for dinner, but that was looking extremely unlikely. I was not going to be very popular if I turned up late, and they were both worried and hungry. The last few kilometres were really dragging on, and I even considered just turning around and heading home without even laying eyes on the rock. But in the end, I just couldn't do it. I decided to risk the wrath of the family and push on in the hope that I might get some phone reception along the way. And finally, this sweet little bit of single track brought me up to the hut. But with no one there to point me in the direction of the rock, I was left to rely on my natural navigational skills. No sign of the rock. The toilets looked great though. Finally, I noticed a path that I'd ridden right past before. Was this it? I was relieved to be finally standing on top of Yirra Kartta. It had been a super enjoyable ride, and I was now looking forward to our September end-to-end even more. Surprisingly, there was some reception on top of the rock, and I let my family know that I would not be home till later. Whew. This meant I could relax a little and enjoy the trip home. Well, that's about all for today's video. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope you enjoyed it. Till next time. Hi! How you going, beautiful?
We're making dinner.
Oh, awesome. Did you wait for me?
Yeah.
Oh, thanks so much.
Hello.
Hi.
What are these we're cooking up?
Oh, good,
We're
good.
Steak, sausages, inside is pasta and a salad.
Steak,
have a
sausages, pasta.
And salad.
Oh, that sounds fabulous.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.